Once upon a time, in a faraway land, there lived a king and a queen. They had everything except for a child. They longed for a child. Soon after, the queen's wish came true, as she was blessed with a beautiful daughter. They named her Snow White. Sadly, the queen died not long after. A few years later, the king married another woman who was beautiful but also vain and cruel. She had studied dark magic and owned a magic mirror. Every day she asked her magic mirror, One day, the queen spoke to the mirror as usual, but the answer was different this time. The jealous queen was very angry. She ordered her huntsman to take Snow White into the woods.
Take Snow White into the forest.
My queen, what has the princess done wrong?
The poor huntsman took Snow White into the woods. He let her go. Snow White ran until she found a cottage hidden deep in the forest. It belonged to the Seven Dwarfs. Snow White entered the little house. Finding it very untidy, she started to clean up. Snow White was very hungry, so she ate a few vegetables and a little bread from each plate.
Wow, this food smells delicious.
Afterwards, she grew tired and lay down on one of the little beds and fell fast asleep. When the dwarfs came home, they saw that someone had been there, for everything was not in the same order as they had left it. They were surprised to see a beautiful princess sleeping in their beds. Snow White woke up. She told them her sad story. The dwarfs decided to let her stay as long as she liked. Every morning, the dwarfs went to the mountains looking for gold. Snow White stayed at home. She cleaned the house, cooked dinner, and waited for them to return. Happy that Snow White was gone, the queen asked the magic mirror again. She was very angry when the mirror said that Snow White was still alive. She used her magic spell and turned into an old woman. Then she made a poisoned apple. She went to the dwarf's house and begged Snow White to open the door for her. She gave Snow White the poisoned apple to eat. As soon as Snow White took a bite, she fell to the ground. When the dwarfs came home, they were shocked to find Snow White lying lifeless on the ground. Thinking she was dead, they sadly put her in a glass coffin.
Snow White, please wake up! How can we save her? I think she's dead.
They put the coffin outside on a mountain. The animals came and mourned for Snow White. One day, a handsome prince came riding in from a nearby kingdom. He saw the beautiful princess and fell in love with her.
Oh, who is she? She's the princess.
He leaned over and kissed her. At that very moment, the magic spell was broken. Snow White woke up and looked around.
Snow White, you are beautiful.
She was surprised to see the handsome prince beside her. The dwarfs were overjoyed. When the king learned what the evil queen had done, he banished her from his kingdom forever. The prince and Snow White married and lived happily ever after.
I'll never forget this special day.